Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this is part 2 of a series where I'm going through all the books that helped me through my mental health journey, through depression and anxiety, and this is going along with my July month of fundraising for the mental health art book that I'm writing and hoping to publish. So all the fundraising money for this will go to the publishing of that book. I'll link below the intro video. Should have done that in the last video actually, if you want to know more about this book. And there's all the different ways that you can donate or contribute, which is all in that video. But basically 50% of all sales from my Etsy Willow Bound journals will go towards this book. 50% from all my Patreon support will go to it as well. So the links will be below to Willow Bound journals and Patreon. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of artworks in my Etsy for sale too, and all that money will go to the book. And if anyone wants to just donate through PayPal or direct deposit if you're in Australia, you get one of these Daphne's Diary journals as a thank you gift. So, I actually might make available maybe the vintage music journals and the fairy tale journals available as a gift too, as a thank you gift for anyone who donates. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Okay, let's get into part 2. Where do I start? So many books. Okay, let's go with this one. This is one of my favorites. Present Over Perfect. Is that in frame? Okay, so yeah, I used to be very much a perfectionist. I mean, I still am a bit, but very much a perfectionist in the past. And I thought being perfect was a good thing. I valued it, and so therefore I worked really hard and put in a lot of effort into being perfect. Into looking good, into looking alright, into being strong and having everything together, and it was working for me. People did say things like, you know, I had that reputation, I suppose, of Little Miss Perfect, perfect princess, that kind of thing. So I was happy. I'm like, yes, I'm doing it. I'm being perfect or whatever, but what I learned is that no, perfection is a prison. It's not a good thing, and you don't know how much of a 180 in my thoughts that had to be. That's how much God had to be at work in my life, because he had to change my whole thoughts in this area to go from perfection is the best thing ever to no, it's really not a good thing. It's not a healthy thing, because this is what I learned. If you're being perfect, you're not being real. And if you're not being real, you're not being you, then why are you here? Like, we're created to be us. And to be perfect, it means covering up the cracks, it means covering up the messes and pretending. If you're being perfect, you're pretending. And yeah, it's being fake. It's hiding everything behind a mask. And eventually, yeah, you become the mask. And I always kind of was worried about that. Like, even when I was going through this perfection stage, I was like, well, how do I knew I was wearing a mask the whole time. I knew I had the mask, and I knew, it's just that I liked the mask because the mask gave me good things. You know, it gave me that reputation of being Little Miss Perfect. So I liked the mask, but I also was conflicted because I, had this idea of like, well, where does the mask end and where do I begin, and am I just a mask now? And I was still okay with it. I was just like, yeah, well, alright, that's just the way things are. But it got to a point where I was like, I don't want the mask anymore. I hated being fake. I hated myself so much. I hated what I'd become, and I was just desperate to be real. It's like being real was my air that I needed. So it wasn't even, I suppose, a thought out thing. It was literally just my identity, for it to be able to survive, needed to be real, and my being just was desperate to be real. And so I came to a point in my life where I realized that I would rather no one like me and be real than have everyone like me and be fake. Because what's the point if everyone likes you but you're not you? Then they don't really like you. And yeah, that took forever for me to realise. And yeah, finally I got to the point where I could eventually tell people my struggles, my pain, my depression and anxiety, and yeah, I'm of course still on that journey, but I'm much better at being able to just share my pain, share my tears, share my struggles, share my messes, because now I don't have any shame about it. In fact, I kind of have gone completely the other way, and I'm like, struggles are good. I mean, no, they don't feel good and all that stuff, and they're horrible. But what I mean is, it's just part of being human, and it's just part of life. And if we can share that reality, that's a good thing. To be real about reality. Oh my goodness! Like, I'm not sure if I was explaining this very well, but yeah. This is basically the journey that this lady went through as well, how she kind of had this perfect exterior, I suppose, but underneath there's all this, oh, my tape is going a bit forward, there's all this pain and mess and just wanting to be present in the moment, real, not perfect, with a false facade or whatever, a mask. Yeah, so that was very helpful. I'll share this little story or insight as well that's kind of related. I remember I was in a bus looking out the window, and as we're driving down the road, I had this kind of profound thought that even if I perform well at everything I do, and even if everyone likes me, it means nothing if I hate myself. Profound epiphany for me in that moment, and it got me onto the journey of seeking to just be me, which was a hard thing to do when your whole life you would put on a mask, but that became my new thing to try to just be me, because again I related in a whole new way to that scripture of what good is it to gain the whole world if you lose your soul? And how that spoke to me in that moment was, what good is it to have everything, to have achievements and a good reputation, if you have lost yourself, if you have completely self-destructed and disintegrated? And that's what it felt like for me. I felt like I'd self-destructed, I wasn't me anymore, and so what was the point of having a great reputation, and I was doing well at all my roles and succeeding? What the heck was the point of all of that if I hated myself and had lost my identity? And yeah, it was a struggle as well, because everyone on the outside, I was worried that they all think everything's fine. They're looking at me going, you're doing great, and I'm so happy that you're doing that role, and I'm so happy that you're doing well in that role, and I'm so happy with you. And I had to learn, I was terrified of stepping back from some roles and being real, because I was so terrified of people judging me and not liking me anymore, because one, I wasn't doing my roles anymore, and two, maybe I wasn't doing it well. Yeah, if you're not doing the role, you can't be doing well at it either. So the two things that I'd relied on, what people thought of me and doing well at what I did, were gone. So I had to stand on my own 2 feet now and stand on my own identity and go, this is enough. This is enough. Yeah, a long journey. Just thought I'd throw that story out there. Okay, cool. The other thing, the way this book helped me, was when Shauna, the author, was saying how she was a nurturing person, and she was very hospitable, kind of welcoming and friendly, nurturing, and whimsical. And she lost that person when, through depression and all that, and she wanted that person back. Okay, so this gave me a moment of epiphany, and I realized that, there were parts of myself that I did like. Crazy to think, kind of, but when you have just pure self-loathing, to recognize that there were parts of you that you liked is a kind of an epiphany. So I used to just think, oh yeah, parts of myself, my personality was just, oh yeah, it's just me, whatever. But then the way she was saying, I liked that part of myself. I realized, oh, it's okay to like parts of yourself. And I did like parts of myself, because in the past I would have been like, oh, how selfish and egotistical and proud and arrogant is it to like yourself and to like your personality or some of your traits. But when she said it, I was like, yeah, you go. That's awesome. I love that you love that about yourself. That is so good. And it made me recognize, well, okay, no, the traits for me aren't nurturing or whimsical and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it's my whole life people told me I was a cheery person, and they described me as happy. And also, they described me as, passionate and spirited. And the kind of thing where, like, if I get excited about something, I just talk about it all the time, and I get worked up like this on my channel. I think that's what you guys have noticed too, ever since I started my channel, is just my joy. I get a lot of comments saying things like, your joy is just so contagious. I love your excitement. I love your enthusiasm. But in the past, I didn't recognize this about myself. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever. I brushed it off and was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I didn't even recognize that I was a happy, cheery person. But through this journey, through depression, I completely lost my personality. I just became a ghost. I felt like a blank sheet. There's nothing in me anymore. I had no personality. I was just dull and dead inside, pretty much. And I realized I liked who I was before depression. For the first time I recognized it. I liked the fact that I was a cheery person. I finally understood I was a cheery, happy person, and I was spirited, and I was passionate. Not only was I these things, but I actually liked those things. And what I found through this whole journey was that I've refound that person. I thought that after depression and anxiety, when I totally disintegrated and lost myself, I thought, well, what do I have got now? Like, do I have to find a whole new personality? Like, was that all a lie? Was that fake too? But what I learned is, no, that was actually me. And now, coming through this journey onto the other side, it's been enhanced. So it is now even more, because now I acknowledge it and can run with it and go, I am cheery and I am spirited, and I am going to embrace that fully and run with it. So that was really, really, I guess profound for me and super, super helpful. Yeah, hope that was helpful for you guys too. I'm just noticing my battery is running out, even though I've got plenty of time left on my camera, filming time. So if it runs out, like I'm tossing up. Do I shut it off now, or do I just let it run on? Let's just go with that. If I get stuck into something kind of deep, I don't want to have to charge my camera and then wait to speak again. So let's just shut it now. Stop it now. Hope that was helpful. I only got through one book in that one. Sorry, guys. I will charge my camera and come back and share more of these books. And I really do hope it's helpful. Let me know if it is. Feel free to share any of your stories. Let me know if anything that I've shared has spoken to you. Feel free to check out these books if you would like them and think they will help you, even though I only shared one. Oh my goodness. And yeah, if you'd like to help fundraise and support me getting this book out there, then yeah, I hope you find something in my Etsy that you like. Or support me on Patreon. There's so many rewards, so many extra videos. You get digital kits, you get freebies, you get so many things. So I hope that, just anyone on there would think it's really worth it, and feel part of a community as well, and feel like you are, helping a dream come true, I suppose. Not just with this book, but with Willowbound Journals. Yeah, all the links will be below, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again about the next book. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, shoot me an email. I am totally happy to share anything about my journey, and just, I hope it's encouraging and comforting and helpful in some small way, and connects with you. So, alright, I'm going to charge my camera, and I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye!